there, Ray.
Oh yeah, no, exactly what we said here on the special comments. You know, they controlled that quarter, but they should have hit the scoreboard with probably 2 more goals. I think Peter getting a little bit overboard saying 3 or 4, but you know, no, another 2 goals. I think I would have been happy with a 5-goal first quarter if I was coaching Boronia for that quarter, with the amount of ball that they had.
Just another around the ground score too. Doncaster currently leading Rowville 2-4-16 to 1 behind. So the Sharks plenty to play for. Rowville probably playing for pride, Ray.
Yeah, no, that's all right there.
So just about to get set for this second term, all important as far as Templestowe are concerned for their season.
Just one quick score. Doncaster East, the quarter time 6-2-38. Lilydale only 1 point.
Wow, yeah, start of the second term. Bain wins the tap for Templestowe. They need to win the clearances, but it's the Hawks with the first foray forward through Luke Hannon towards right half forward. No one there for the Hawks in terms of high marking power, and Bain will clear for the Dockers. Looks through the corridor. He was looking for his teammate in Murphy, but instead found Bell in the opposite jumper. So Bell for the Hawks in the centre circle. Chips towards half forward. Good mark in front. Di Stefano, and copped a whack for his quarter. Takes the mark at centre half back forward the Dockers. He moves off his mark. Looks towards the broadcast wing as they favoured for most of the game. Alex Brown takes the mark from centre wing. Spearing ball towards left half forward in the direction of his teammate Mariani. Hand pass missed the target in Pearce, and we'll have a ball in at left half forward for Tempe on the 50. Hope you're enjoying the broadcast, whether you may be listening via Radio Eastern 98.1 FM or streaming live around the globe at efl.org.au. I wonder if Brash is watching today from New York.
I'm sure he will be.
Tap one to ground level. McAlpine over the football for the Hawks. He's wrapped up in a tackle. A couple of Dockers besiege upon him. We'll have a bounce.
He's from Trump Towers. He'll be listening.
He'd be a key advisor, I think, at the moment. Old Brash. Ball up, 45 out from the Dockers' goal. Forced to ground level. The Hawks again having possession in that area. Hannon, bit of a pin ball. Jackson claimed there for the Hawks, and a gang tackle was McAlpine, and we'll have another bounce. Same spot, 45 out for the Dockers' goal. You can see White lurking with those orange boots. He's looking very favourable at the moment as he affects the tackle on Di Stefano. It'll be a free kick going the Hawks' way. I think it was holding the ball. No, it's going the Dockers.
Over the shoulder it was.
Over the shoulder. So Di Stefano will take the free kick, 45 out, almost directly in front.
As soon as he got tackled, it was over the shoulder and the whistle blew straight away.
Yep.
He dropped his knees.
So
good luck to him for doing it.
David Di Stefano, Templestowe yet to score, and we're 2 minutes into the second term.
Ex-Don Vale player as well.
Yes. Hopefully for their sake he can break the duck here. 45 metres out on a slight angle. It's moving towards the right to left. Couldn't quite bring it back enough, and only a minor score. So Templestowe 1 behind. Boronia 3-1-19. Let's head boundary side.
Long kick out to the outer side for Boronia. No mark, but they're able to shark off the pack, and Hannon shares it to a running teammate, and White. He gets it to Henderson on the half-forward flank. He's quick to hand it off to a runner. It's a one-on-one. Deep in defence. Patterson got into open space, and he took 2 grabs at it, but he's going to be paid it. Preston Giacomo lost the handle of him, and he got in late, and too late for the punch.
As a defender in that situation, you're always going to find yourself wanting, as particularly if you're running back with the flight of the ball and the man is ready there, waiting to take the mark, and he read that beautifully on that occasion.
Yeah, that running hand pass got beyond the lines, and it made Patterson, who was deeper than Giacomo, Fiorenza, in a prime position to take the mark pretty much uncontested. So Patterson looking for his second goal of the day to extend the lead out to 4 goals early in this second term. The right foot to the teeth of the goals. It's dropped short. Punch comes in, just gets it over the line. It's a minor score. Boronia 3-2-20, leading by 19. Templestowe 1 point.
So Patterson ditching the long sleeves in this second term. Obviously a little bit warmer as he gets a bit of a run around. The umpire's going to take it back for a 25. Bain, who's the designated kicker. I think there was a bit of a hit off the ball on that occasion. The umpire pointing the finger to the middle of the ground. So Bain will take it from centre half back. It's a 50-metre penalty.
Well, I think it's just down ground to
Boronia free. There you go. So White will be the recipient. So it'll be a free kick for Boronia from centre half forward. Could be a 7-point play. White kick inside 50 Tried to hit his teammate on the bounce here, Patterson. Couldn't quite take it on the half volley. Picked up well by the big man, lumbering away. Chance now for the Hawks, though. They did cough it up on that occasion. That was Rutherford trying to break clear, and the Dockers have a chance for a Lodge. Hand pass in a confined space on the boundary line to Brown. His hand pass was intercepted, and good tackle affected on Riddle on that occasion, but the Dockers move it forward through Di Stefano. Onto the left foot, he took a bounce. Kick into an unguarded square. It will bounce, it will roll, it will trickle towards the goal line, and it's forced through, rushed through by Burgess for the Hawks, and only a minor score. So the Dockers 2 behinds, Boronia 3-2-20. We're going 5 minutes, second term, Bendigo Bank scoreboard.
Ray, if you look on that last passage of play down the wing, Templestowe starting to run into numbers a bit more, and therefore the pressure that's being applied by Boronia, they're able to hand it off to a man and slice through the middle as well, as seen with Di Stefano there.
Long kick goes out the middle, but Pearce was the one to get his hands on it, and at ground level he's got help from May, who sweeps a hand pass out wide, but he's got his teammate Collett in a tackle, and Boronia hold up through Joshua Hannon, taking down the Templestowe player. Just as he was about to go into the forward line, Vankachoff got tackled to the ground. So it's a ball up, 50 out, roved by Vankachoff, kicks it long to the goal square, one-on-one. Can Mariana butter up? He's the first one there. Spoons a hand pass out, but it didn't really get directed to a teammate, and he'll have to jump into the pack again to hold it up. And he's fighting his way through the Boronia pack. He's playing full forward today, or this quarter, should I say. It's an interesting move from the prime midfield mover, and it's a free kick out of the ruck. This time it goes Templestowe's way, so they'll have a shot at goal, and it looks like it will be Wadsworth.
Yeah. The ex-Murraybark player.
So Wadsworth, can he get Templestowe's first goal on the board and close it to a 2-goal game? 6 minutes into the second term, a long heaving kick. Misses to the left, minor score. Templestowe 3 points, Boronia 3-2-20.
Ray, Wadsworth one that's worked absolutely tirelessly for the Dockers early on in this game.
Yeah, no, he's a very good player, and he should also, Dan, because he's played in Division 2.
Templestowe looking for Mark Arceri at the moment. The kick goes out on the full, the kick in for the Hawks, so very costly. The Dockers will have another shot at goal. They're peppering in this second term, just unable to convert. Wilson from right half forward, looks towards goal. No one on the goal line. It bounces through, and the Dockers finally get their first goal on the board. They're 1-3-9, trailing Boronia 3-2-20. We go on 7 minutes, second term on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard.
Yeah, bad mistake there by Boronia. You know, first of all, they're kicking the ball out of bounds, that's right, and then allowing the ball with nobody back in the goal square. You know, when the player's having a shot for goal, irrespective of how far he's out, you at least have somebody back in the goal square.
He was like Beckham seeing the goalkeeper off the line. He went for it, and then back of the net, to keep the the analogy going.
Like Beckham against Wimbledon 20 years ago, one of the great goals.
But he burst onto the scene there. I don't think Wilson's going to burst onto the scene beyond Templestowe, but how thankful is DeCourcy that now Templestowe are on the board through a major. But the quick kick finds Collins at half forward. Used his strength in the aerially, gets it to Bolton, who tries to spear the pass into leading option, but has been nicely chopped off by Brown as McKernan was leading for the ball. And Patterson was coming at it, but Templestowe holding up nicely. Now Prestigiacomo, the experienced campaigner, hands it back to Brown, who will do running from the deepest of defence, going to the outer side, bouncing ball, finally gets to Franchelli. Gets the hand pass up to Pearce. Pearce has got rushed, and he thought he had plenty of time, but his ball was smothered from half back, and now it's out of bounds. We'll go boundary side to Tim Fitzsimons.
Yeah, Peter Brown spoke at quarter time about Alex Brown behind. Alex Brown behind the ball, and we saw him mop up there. It's definitely one player he's highlighted to avoid going inside 50.
Thanks, Tim. A lot of talk of Brown. Peter Brown coaching Boronia, talking about Alex Brown of Templestowe. And now the boundary throw-in turns into a ball up at half forward for Boronia, who lead by 11 points.
Brown, white, orange, a lot of colours today. Pink.
As the Rucks go at it, Collins came over the top, knocked it forward, but nicely bursting through was the Templestowe defence, and they're going to be rushing their way out of defence now. Bain just couldn't elude a tackle, and he's got dispossessed and has been knocked out of bounds on the outer wing.
Nice little bear hug there from Lake. Good to see the two getting acquainted, and as a consequence, Bain will get the free kick from centre wing. So the Dockers move it forward into the middle. Mark taken by Van Kirchhoff. So Van Kirchhoff from centre wing. Just looking up for an option, trying to orchestrate an attack. Looks towards right half forward. Floating kick off the boot. Almost found the intended target in Lodge. He's forced to ground level in front of the Boronia bench. Managed to regain it. Good smother off the boot, and the Hawks will now gain possession through Fairchild. High ball up towards centre wing. Umpire calls play on despite a little strike. Kick towards left half forward. Falls over the head of the intended target in Rapasada. The Dockers try and move it forward. No one can get clear possession of the football. A good tackle effected on top of the ball was Geraghty, and we'll have a throw in on the outer wing right in front of our boundary rider, Tim Fitzsimons.
Dan, look at the Dockers have been better this quarter, but I still feel that Boronia are controlling the quarter.
Yeah, they certainly are. Templestowe's ball movement has been better, but it could be a lot better once again.
Well, they move it forward again. The hand pass came from Rundle, clearing ball towards Wadsworth, who took it well on the ground. He's very nimble for a big man. Kick towards right half forward, missed the target, and again the Hawks can move it forward on the counter-attack. Hand pass comes through, and a long ball in the direction there of Johnson, who flew high for the mark, but a good grab taken out the back for the Dockers, to be taken there, of course, by DeCarla. At centre field, DeCarla spearing, probing, ball towards centre half forward. Wadsworth on the lead once again. Good chipping mark from the side, floating across Pearce, who sprints into goal and boots Templestowe second. That was brilliant play, almost flawless from the centre half back position. The Dockers are 2-3-15, closing in on Boronia, 3-2-20 on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard.
Well, that all started in the middle here when they had possession of the footy, Templestowe. They had a man out on the wing. I think it might have been Fanchalu, who he could have kicked to, but he weighed up his options. He went long and direct, kept it nice and simple, and that's the end result.
A great mark by Matthew Pearce, and he was going against the flow of the pack. He could have got absolutely crunched them, but he kept his eyes on the ball. He marked the ball, and the momentum just kept him going towards goal.
Good floater.
Yeah, just got to correct our team sheet. It's Daniel Pearce, ex-Bulldog, should be.
Okay.
So, who kicked the goal. And anyway, his last name's Pearce, that's what counts. And it's Vankachoff who kicks it long out of the centre pack, and he kicks it long, but a mark's been taken in defence by Lake. So Lake, who gave away a free kick earlier.
What you're saying is that goal certainly pierced them off, didn't it?
Yes, well, I didn't want to go there, thanks Jack Gibson, but we will if we have to. Rapasada's in the middle of the ground. He had not enough options, but he had enough time just to think about it, and they're sharing it in the middle of the ground, and White finally gets a kick inside 50, but he ill-directs it, and it's been nicely marked by Riddle. Riddle gets it off to a runner, and that runner's Fiorenza. Takes one bounce, kicks it long to half forward. The numbers will suit the Hawks, and they could have raffled it. And finally, Henderson had the winning ticket, took the mark and kicked it to centre half back.
They got out of jail there a bit, the Hawks, because there was no talk whatsoever at that contest.
The kick's a dangerous one, puts a lot of pressure on Geraghty, but he stood up to the challenge, and he bounces to the next task, which is to kick it long into the forward line. He's got Collins underneath it. He pushes his team opponent off, and he marks it on the breadbasket. Spears a pass in. Oh, drop ball. Big opportunity lost as it goes through the hands of Robertson, and Templestowe are left off the hook as they get their way out of half back through Brown, kicking it low, but finding his teammate in Lodge on the outer wing. So that's a big let-off by Robertson dropping the ball.
Lodge looking inboard, finds his target in Bain, who's really lifted in this second term. Called to play on by the umpire. Wheels onto the right foot, looks laterally. It's a poor kick, intercepted by Allen with a double fister. At centre half back, the Dockers can recover here. They move it forward, and the kick comes towards the broadcast wing. Mark taken by Riddle on the right foot, spearing ball into the middle. They look to move it through the corridor. Chance now for Worthing. Chip pass to centre field, and a good mark taken low down. Almost a grass cutter, that one. Jackson taking it for the Dockers. It's a tumbling punt towards the left half forward position. Mariani fell to ground. The Hawks have the numbers through Bell. Hand pass comes back to his teammate in McAlpine, and they eventually work it out and orchestrate an attack forward. Kick towards centre wing. Good mark taken by Collins. He's been a great aerialist this afternoon for the Hawks.
Just too big for them.
He is. He's a potent figure, that's for sure, but he's kicked into the man on the mark. You give the boy a rap and he lets you down. The Dockers have a chance now through Riddle. Gives it back to his teammate in Di Stefano. Great evasion. Was very good. Looks inboard, and the mark taken by Jackson. 70 out from goal. Evades a would-be tackler. Gets the hand pass back to Lodge. Now Di Stefano chips the pass to centre half forward, and the mark's been taken by Lee Murphy.
Well, Ray, this quarter what we've seen is we've absolutely seen Templestowe with, I suppose, more composure when they do have the footy.
Hand pass comes to Di Stefano for the Dockers. Can put the Dockers in front. It's got the legs. The Dockers have free 3:21 on the board. Boronia free 2:20. They're back. The home crowd in raptures 15 minutes into the second term.
As I was saying, Ray, it all comes down to composure. When they had that error here at centre half back just a few moments ago, the recovery from that was absolutely brilliant, and it's evident this quarter that they're more composed when they do have the footy, being able to lower their eyes and hit up targets, and that's the end result when going forward.
Yeah, what they've done now, they've certainly put the pressure back on Boronia. You know, Boronia's had that great first quarter, but they've really struggled this quarter.
Bit of a designated kicker must be Di Stefano. Collins worked his way into the middle after Boronia won the centre clearance, but they went backwards and missed the target. As going over the ball was Johnson, allowed Templestowe to pick it up at half forward, and they go through Lodge into the pocket, and Mariano dives into the mark and takes it at ground level just as the ball's about to hit the turf. He gets his arms underneath it and claims the mark. So 30 metres out, and it was only at quarter time how Templestowe were lamenting their way going forward that they couldn't get a score on the board. But now they're actually a point ahead, and they're going
polar opposite, isn't it?
It's amazing, the turnaround in this second term. So Mariano, who hasn't had a centre stoppage work this quarter, he's only played out of the goal square, so it's an interesting move by De Corsi. Mariani puts his right leg through the ball, but he misses all scores, and it's out in the full. So we don't have a change in the scoreboard. Templestowe leading at the 15.5-minute mark, 3-3-21. Boronia 3 goals to 20.
So Henderson to bring the ball back into play for the Hawks. Chips towards the left back pocket. And they'll look to orchestrate the 4-8 forward here, Boronia, trailing by points. They really have had everything pushed at them in this second term. White sends the ball towards centre wing. High flyers there. Collins got the hand pass out. Couldn't quite find a target, however. It's forced to ground level. Hannon of the Josh variety got the hand pass away. They look to move it forward through the corridor. Henderson claimed a brilliant tackle effected by Pearce. Forced it to ground level. However, the umpire adjudicates that it was a push in the back, so Henderson will take it between half-back and centre wing for the Hawks. Looks towards the outer wing. Good mark taken in front there by Collins, I think it was. No, it's coming back. Luke Hannon took the mark, but it's a Templestowe free kick off the ball. And the recipient looks as if it's Wadsworth. So the big man switches the play towards the broadcast wing. It's a well-weighted ball. Finds Brown, the intended target. Spearing kick into the pocket. Tried to favour Mariardi. Edged his opponent under the ball, but then lost his feet. And seeing it over the line in the back pocket for the Hawks is McAlpine. Will have a ball in. So Templestowe leading by a solitary point. 3 goals to nothing in this second term. A complete turnaround. Just a reminder, Templestowe playing for a double chance this afternoon in the Division 3 final series. The Hawks fighting for survival. Forced to ground level, Mariani, the shark, sharking the ball. Hand pass into space. Didn't really have an effective target. It's eventually intercepted by Bain, who finds a target out wide, and the mark has been taken by Nick Worthing. He can go back and have a shot from the 50.
Great work by Bain.
25.
Wow, what's happened here? I think off the ball.
Yep.
It looks like Di Stefano and his opponent in Lake were having a bit of a to-do off the ball. Might have been related.
It was Bain who got knocked down,
Yeah,
so that's why.
Lake put him to the ground, right in front of the other umpire.
Worst place to do it, isn't it?
Stupid.
So Nick Worthing will be shooting to give the Dockers a 7-point buffer halfway through the second term. He's 20 metres out directly in front, should nail it, and does. Templestowe 4-3-27, lead Boronia 3-2-20, 18 minutes into the second term. Let's head to Barry Cotts at the EFL Score Centre.
Yes, in Division 1, Vermont at quarter time, 3-2-20 at South Croydon, 1-1-7. Bayswater and Blackburn. Bayswater 3 goals straight to Blackburn, 1-2-18.
Oh.
Noble Park 3-3-21, North Ringwood 2-4-16. Balwyn and East Ringwood. Balwyn 3-2-26 to East Ringwood, 1 behind 1 point. And Doncaster 2-4-16 to Roval, 1 behind 1 point. And Montrose 2-2-14 to Norwood, 6-4-40. So Montrose 6-4-40 to Norwood 6-4-40, Montrose 2-2-14.
Good to see Montrose doing so well this afternoon.
Yeah, they've inspired by the international rules that they hosted last
Papua New
week.
Guinea.
That was the perfect example, wasn't it?
So the ball's back in the middle here at Templestowe. Templestowe, who trailed by 19 at quarter time. Not even 19 minutes gone second term. They now lead by 7 points as they've kicked the 4 goals for this term. And a bit of ill discipline cost them that goal, I reckon, Boronia, because Worthing might have been outside his range there to kick long and accurately. But he got an easy shot from 20 metres with the penalty against the push down of Matthew Bain, who gave it to him. Ball's quickly balled up again. Secondary go at it from the centre.
Oh.
White just sharks the hand pass from Murphy, then gives it off to Timo, who just loads a bomb to the half flank where McKernan picks it up on the bounce, hands it over to Luke Hannon, who has to go back for it. Then his hand pass is errant as he goes backwards. It only gets into the hands of Wilson, who's the runner for Templestowe on the outer side. Mariani one-on-one tries to feed off his opponent in the back position, and it was accidentally kicked by that defender out in the full. So Mariani quick to play on, but his little pass didn't get the distance, and Boronia mop up, and they're going to mop up through Bell. Short pass, dangerous one. Under a heap of pressure is Hannon. He just pushes it out, and he's been penalised for a throw.
Tried to scoop it out or spoon it out.
So this is inside the range of Di Stefano, who's actually going to short pass it to a better option, and he finds May just outside the arc. Another short coming on as Brown goes from half back and runs all the way to be an option. He marks it on a very acute angle, but he's within a scoring range if he goes for it. He's going to look for a pass. He's called a play on as he takes a couple of steps, puts it into the pocket. Mariani dives at it, and the flying Mariani takes the mark just before it goes out in the full. Or is he going to be...
It was touched off the boot.
No, that's stiff, because it didn't look like there was much of a finger touched off the man on the mark.
Well, umpire had a good view of it though, so...
And when you take a mark that's not only courageous but spectacular, you sort of want to be rewarded. So Mariani not getting the mark. In there is May. He gets tackled before he can have a flying shot at goal. And Boronia under a heap of pressure.
Ray, how many times have we seen in this game defences sort of switch the ball to the centre of the centre half back position, and it's absolutely come back to bite them?
Oh, it's lots of times, Dan. Yeah, no, look, it's just great pressure by both sides out there.
Big pack go at it, and at the bottom of the pack is Lodge, and he'll pick himself up, and the ball will be balled up again. It's deep in the forward line for Templestowe. Boronia have got numbers back. They've crowded this stoppage. Just don't want to get the next clearing. They want to get the clearing kick, and Hannon is that man to get it 20 metres further away from goals, and it goes out of bounds. So we'll have a boundary throw in 60 metres around from Templestowe's goal. So it's 4-3-27. Templestowe leading by 7 points. Boronia 3-2-20. The next break will get more scores around the grounds for Division 4 divisions at quarter time. As we're in the second term, Rapasada hands it off to a runner. That's McKernan's under a heap of pressure. He just tumbles a kick. It bounces. Oh, big tackle on the Boronia player. Fiorenza just lined him up, drove the shoulder into it, and he knocked Hare into next week. And it's now a ball up at half forward.
Big tortoise with the hair.
So it's another ball up. Rucks go at it. Rapasada at ground level. Does nicely to spin his way out of trouble. Kicks it into the forward line. Hare might come back with a mark, but he couldn't get with Prestigiacomo in his way. He couldn't get around him, and the big fella takes the mark in defence.
And the Dockers will clear it off right half back. Prestigiacomo looking out wide. Wadsworth takes the mark for the Dockers. Kicks towards centre wing. It's an ill-directed ball straight down the throat of his opponent in Fairchild, who looks inboard into centre field, and the mark taken by McKernan, who was prominent early in the first term. Kicked towards centre half forward. Hare dived for the ball, couldn't take it on the half volley. The Dockers, as a consequence, will move it through the centre. Lodge gets the hand pass out wide. Di Stefano with the look away hand pass to Brown. Brown looks on the right side of the boot. It was almost on the outside of the boot on that occasion. A dinky little pass finds his intended target in Rundle. So Mac Rundle looks towards the left half forward position. Diving for the ball there was late for Boronia. Forced it to his teammate in McKernan. Loops the hand pass out wide. The Hawks trying to gain an effective spot forward, and the mark taken by Collins, who will provide some respite for the Hawks as they move it forward. In fact, it's Rutherford who looks towards centre half back. Hand pass comes to McKernan. Sweeps the hand pass over the top to Luke Hannon. Sends a probing ball inside 50. Hares under the ball. Lost it in the sun on that occasion. Trying to charge his way through was Rapasada. Forced it to ground level. The Dockers have the numbers. A hacking kick forward won't go very far for Templestowe as a mark taken by Luke Hannon. Intercepted. Kick towards centre half forward. Finds his teammate with a short pass. Just travelled the required 15. And the mark's been taken by Ben Robertson. So Robertson's 55 metres out from goal, directly in front, and Boronia badly need one to stem the Templestowe flow. Currently trailing by 7 points, the Hawks. Ben Robertson.
Well, they've only kicked 1 point in 24 minutes of football this quarter.
Yep. Certainly a quiet period. Long time between drinks. Robertson, a deliberate approach. Gets under the ball. Won't quite make the distance. A big pack forms.
Oh.
And the mark almost uncontested on the second bite. Can you believe that? Where was the Docker fist? It wasn't present. It's a Boronia mark deep in the forward line, and it looks as if Bolton's come down with it. So Jess Bolton directly in front, 10 metres out from goal. This to break the momentum for Templestowe and put Boronia back to within a solitary point. Looking for his second goal. Jess Bolton, couple of steps, that's all that's required. He's put it through. Boronia 4-2-26, trailing Templestowe 4-3-27 late in the second term on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. Let's head to Barry Cotts in the score centre.
Yes, let's look at Division 2. Croydon is 3-9-27, lead Mulgrave 1-2-8. Doncaster is 6-2-38 to Littledale, 1 behind 1 point. Mitcham and Knox, interesting game. Mitcham 4-2-26 to Knox, 4 goals straight, 24. Muralbark 2-1-13, Upper Ferntree Gully 1-2-8, and Wanturna South 1-1-7 to Waverley Blues. No score in Division 2.
Let's head boundary side. Tim Fitzsimons.
The tired Templestowe players coming off the ground here, obviously playing a very high pressure game, getting themselves back in the contest. They'll be pretty happy to go into half time where the game's at the moment, I think.
McKernan sharked the tap. He got help from Bolton, who had to give it back to McKernan, but his kick smothered. Collins has to get involved, but he's been bulldozed over the top by his opponent in Riddle. So Templestowe did nicely there, just as Boronia looked like they were going to escape, and they got reward for holding the ball as Collins just jumped on the ball, and his opponent Fanchulu gets the free kick, gives it to Vankachov, who in the middle gives it to the running Prestigiacomo. Off the back of the square, he goes out wide, maybe too wide as Wilson gets onto the ball, but he comes into the corridor after he picks it up. Doesn't like what he sees forward, so has to go back to Prestigiacomo, who loads up a long high ball to the flank, and it's been spoiled over the boundary line and out of bounds. So it's an interesting game now, 1 point game as we approach half time in a game that really decides whether Boronia play next week. Templestowe 4-3-27, leading Boronia 4-2-26. And I don't know what the ramifications are exactly, but they might play each other if Boronia win.
I'm amazed you don't know, Gav, given the amount of hypotheticals you've thrown at us today.
He's all hypothetical out.
Yes, it's hypothetically.
Hyperactive.
And another free kick out of the ruck contest. Templestowe get it. So it'll be Wadsworth who just kicks it long to the surging Templestowe. But Boronia have got the numbers and they've got the tools around the ground. And it's a nice mark taken by Lake, who's intervened a few times now. He's a tall that gets in the way. And thankfully for Boronia, did so on this occasion. He looks at his options, and there is the siren. We've got a game on our hands at half-time. Templestowe leading by a point. They trail by 19 at quarter time. They lead by a point, 4-3-27 to Boronia, 4-2-26. Some quick comments before we have our break.
I think Boronia on that occasion there with that mark taken in the back line, they don't know how long there was to go, but they were just keen to milk